And at the same time, if Ozzie, like you said, Nick, I think if he's pushing him and he's competing and it's that close, I mean, what a problem. What a problem. Because Ozzie, if he is the guy, which I think he's going to be the guy over the next couple of years, because I don't think they're going to pay Braxton, right? Because I think Braxton, at the end of the day, I think Ozzie at the very minimum is going to be just as good as him. But the expectations are that he's going to be better. And so you have him on cost control for 3 to 4, almost 5 years. You don't want to pay Braxton. So for me, at least for this season, I think Jones will start, and we'll see if he can, hold that position. And then injuries, of course, always pop up. So speaking of injuries, I don't know if you saw that. I had a cramp, dude.
That was the worst.
I've been taking creatine over the past month, and I guess I'm not drinking enough water. But I've been cramping terribly, dude. Terribly.
Yeah, you gotta drink water with it, man.
Yeah, I think
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
To be fair, this episode, you've been drinking so much. So I'm like, I'm trying, man. Through it.
Well, because I was playing basketball this morning, and I had another cramp just on a closeout. My calf. I've never cramped ever in my life. So
getting old. Welcome to the club.
Trying to get big, dude. This
video. And also, your kid hit one right at your face. I saw those reflexes.
Yeah, thank you.
A couple days ago.
That was crazy. Yeah. That was crazy.
That's crazy.
Trying to take his dad out. Never bite the hand.
I was proud, though, man. I was like,
you don't want Caleb to start, dude.
It's so funny, man. I remember him asking me last year. He goes, why did the Bears lose so much? And I was just like, man. It's true. I mean, that's all he knows right now is they just lose.
That's tough.
That's all they do.
That's what a life.
I just want to put this. Can I put something else out here while we're on the left tackle subject though? Is let's talk about the improvement of coaching. You brought in Dan Rauscher, who has produced 6 Pro Bowl offensive linemen over the last decade. All of them starters, respectfully where they are. Great bring in. Chris Morgan was a joke. I hope Chris Morgan's watching because that guy was a bum. I know he's still not employed.
He's definitely watching. This is the #1 show for Chris Morgan. For sure.
Yeah, Chris Morgan, you bum. Anyway, so I will say this about Braxton is that I don't see any progression with him over the last 3 years. You look at his stats, he's played in less games every single year. He's given up the most sacks in 12 games this past year. He gave up 5 sacks in 12 games. And that was a lot of inconsistency. If Caleb wasn't mobile like he was, guaranteed there'd be more sacks. If Caleb wasn't mobile, I'd said 80 plus sacks on him this past year. But, he saved the offensive line a little bit. I can't get behind Braxton Jones. I'm tired of mid. He's a mid left tackle. He's better than some, but he's not a top tier guy. Yeah. And Dan Rauscher came in. He's he's an overachiever. Doing really well. This is not. Where is it on the tape, though? I see holding calls. I see false starts. I see frustration, injuries. If he could have stayed on the field like he did his rookie year, I was a Braxton Jones fan rookie year, but the last 2 years, I just can't get behind him anymore. Ozzie Trapilo, 6'8", 330 pounds, solid player, great length, good movement. Reminds me a lot of Kyle Long at the end of the day, and ironically, he wears 75. So that's kind of where I stand on it, and that's also why I want Ozzie to be a starter.
So I will take what your argument and use it against you. Not that it's wrong, but he's mid, but you will take mid over sometimes not ready yet. And I think with Ozzie, we don't know yet. With the team that just gave up 68 sacks that you talk about, the best bet may be 1 year of mid and then replace with someone who could be better than mid. So I could see that happening. But it's at a place, though, that Braxton Jones hasn't done enough. And Dave and I have talked about this so much. He hasn't done enough to keep his job, but he sure hasn't done enough to not lose it. So you can see either Ozzie or him starting. But it's really going to come down, I think, in my opinion, it's going to be how healthy he actually is because the time missed. Does he get back by training camp? Does he get those practice reps in with pads? A lot of that's going to be an important decision. And we'll have to wait and see.
I'm excited too because you talked about it, Nick. The coaching that he's had the last couple of years just it's been subpar at best, and so.
Wait, I think Nick's frozen. I've been staring at him.
Frozen.
I thought he was locked
in.
Oh,
he's back.
Swear to God, that you're so locked in.
I saw me frozen, and I was like, "Hotspot time."
The way you came back in, though, your hands moved. That was crazy. It freaked me out for a second.
I thought he was so focused in. I'm like, man, I'm really delivering these points right now. He's not blinking. I'm like, breathe if you're still here. So
yeah, no, I I hear what you're saying. I heard your argument till it like cut off at the end. Like I hear what you're saying. Like again, mid better than bad. But it's just that if you want to be a Super Bowl team, if you want to be the best of the best, there's certain positions you have to have the best of the best at. Left tackle in the Bears situation, center, and then defensive edge, quarterback, wide receiver. You have to have those locked in. And because if you look at the Chiefs, you look at the Eagles, you look at all these other teams that have been in it year in and year out, all of them have a great left tackle. And I don't want a mid left tackle. I hear you though, Ficky. Like I really do.
Actually, the only exception, that's probably because he's crazy, is the Chiefs. Their left tackle last year was Joe Tooney. He didn't even play left tackle. He had to move out there, but he didn't perform well in the Super Bowl. No one on that team did. But I hear what you're saying. Yes, if you're asking me, does that position need to be upgraded? Hell yeah, 100%. I'm not like Braxton Jones. We're feeling good about that. No, so if he gets replaced, I'm not shocked. I wouldn't be. I'm just wondering how much are they like. Again, guy who hasn't played any snaps in the NFL, 4-year veteran. Even though it's mid, you kind of know what you're getting out of him for 1 year. 1 year, next year, Ozzie can come take that spot.
And Dave, you said it best. Short leash. If he sucks,
get
him out. Put Ozzie in there.
Well, and even then, like if Ozzie is so, if he's great and he still doesn't start, you can start rotating him in slowly. Welcome him to the NFL. Because I mean, if he threw him in, I think he could do it. I think he could start. It'd be a learning curve, of course. But like he might get the luxury of like, okay, it's a rotation, maybe 15, 20 snaps week 1, and just progressively goes up. So we'll see. And you don't want to rotate your left tackle. But I'm just saying, I think it's going to be interesting to see how much he pushes that competition as far as Ozzie. But I don't know.
You said it best. It's a good problem to have. So what we didn't have, Nick, what you talked about is depth on the offensive line. And we finally do now. So
and my favorite part is, which I've seen, we've become, remember Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky. You see these vet, Andy Dalton, Justin Fields. It's like vet, young guy. These guys are both young. Like Jones is playing for a contract. Like he's motivated as hell. Ozzie, young, coming to NFL. I mean, these are the competitions you want to have. Not a Andy Dalton and Justin Fields, because I mean it was so. I know Dalton won and he started, but it's like Justin was always going to start. He was always going to start that year. And I know this is left tackle, but it's like 2 young guys competing is just such a different. It's one, fun for camp, and 2, it's just a better competition overall as far as getting the best results, because I think it's such an even playing field as far as the youth. But of course, the experience is a nod to Braxton. So good question though.
Before we move to our Twitter one, let's do our ad read real quick. First off, this is your first time here on the BFR podcast. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you don't mind just giving a like and subscribing, it is free for the algorithm. Helps get this show out to awesome, amazing people like you, because we're trying to build a community here, because the BFR podcast is the number one show by the fans for the fans. Again, the number one show by the fans for the fans. Dave and me, Nick is as well, Jack. All of us are fans just like y'all. Even though we cover the team, we are fans through thick and thin. We've been through the ups and downs. We started the show talking about the double doink and the all the playoff losses that we've accumulated over the past decade. So we understand that, and the Fail Mary. But again, if this is your first time, please like and subscribe. We're really trying to help get the show to grow so we can bring more value to you. Also, if this is your first time, please leave a hashtag New Face Gang in the chat like we always do. We'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time, this is your second time, or this is your 150th time, which I think this is our 150th episode, which is kind of crazy. Please leave a hashtag. There you go. Raise the roof. There it is. Leave a hashtag OG in the chat. We'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. So we really appreciate that. We love to show off you guys. You guys are great, and you guys have been killing it in the chat today. But if you want to support us a little bit financially, or you just want to look fly as hell, we do have the BFR store where you can go, thebfrstore.com. We have some of our latest merch, the hat. We have our new hoodie. We have a mug now, the new t-shirt, stickers, all that type of stuff. Fire new merch that we had released to kick off this new season. Also, if you want to join the ongoing community, you can join our Patreon, where we have tons of monthly giveaways, and you get shout outs. We'll be going through here soon, but we have monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, which we just had last week, mailbag episodes, and much, much more. Also, we just gave away our free BFR hat. So if you just join every month, you have a chance just to win free merch. Like, Who doesn't want free? In this economy, I'll take it. Not only that, you get a shout out here. So we got to give a shout to all our Hall of Fame Grizzly members. We got Michael across the pond, Gage, our boy Phil, Michael Berry, who I saw in the chat. Shout out to you, Michael. And then we got Thomas. I did fix your last name. Shout out to you. And then Tito, who's in the chat as well. Appreciate all the love there. And then also to our rookie Grizzlies, we got Alex, Chris, Jason, and the best first name you could ever think of, Caleb. Much love to y'all. Y'all have been fire. If you want to join the Patreon, you can just go to our Patreon, the BFR Den. On there, we have 2 tiers. We have a $3 tier, less than a cup of coffee. In that, you get all the monthly exclusives, giveaways. You get the mailbag episodes. You just don't get the private Zoom calls with Dave, me, and Jack. And if you get the premium tier, the Hall of Fame tier, $10 a month, you get that private Zoom call and everything else all together right there. $10 a month. Not too bad. All the proceeds from both the BFR store and the Patreon go right back into the show so we can keep bringing fire guests like Nick on. We can keep bringing you awesome content, and we can keep building up this community. So again, shout out to y'all to being here, dead of the off season, talking Bears with the BFR podcast, the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. We love y'all. Back to you, Dave.
Awesome. Let me get these questions up. I thought I would go ahead and just share them on the screen so they can get some love. I know a lot of people like that. So we're going to make these, we're going to try and get through as much as we can in the next maybe 10 minutes or so.
Over under how many we get through. Well, I'll put the number at 5.
We'll see. I'm going to keep mine short. I'm going to start here with Sam, the Jedi, Sam in our group chat, longtime friend. How worried are you about Colston Loveland and Luther Burden missing this much time with the team? Nick, I'm going to start with you for all these questions.
Loveland, not as worried because we know the severities of the injury. We know it's a shoulder thing. Also, he's under contract. That's another factor that comes into this. You know, Luther Burden still doesn't have his contract side. I guess it's, you know, wording in the contract and everything. So I'm more worried about Luther because, you know, he does feel like he has a chip on his shoulder. He feels like he should have been a first rounder. He obviously wants to play, but this soft tissue issue, those linger. Like, Loveland doesn't have that. He's doing like everything he can to get ready right now.